When I get into office, the first thing we have to do, social media accounts, social media companies, they have to show America their algorithms. Let us see why they're pushing what they're pushing. The second thing is every person on social media should be verified by their name. That's, first of all, it's a national security threat. When you do that, all of a sudden people have to stand by what they say, and it gets rid of the Russian bots, the Iranian bots, and the Chinese bots. And then you're going to get some civility when people know their name is next to what they post. I mean, you see a lot of these cases they brought against him are political in nature, and there's no basis on it. And then you see some that he's going to have to answer for. But look, I'm not telling you anything I used to tell him. I used to tell him he's his own worst enemy.
To be an American, it is why I feel very inspired when I hear someone like Vivek Ramaswamy speak and talk about American principles. I hate the way that they illustrate their opinions about people that want that old America, that are nostalgic about that America. When someone says, and I've heard of this statement, and I can't remember who said it, but you can't be pro-American unless you're pro-Israel. I just thought of the person who's probably in West Virginia who had both his legs blown off, right, fighting overseas, who is pro-American, and you're telling him that no, unless you agree that every single war should be everywhere, you're not pro-American.
The thing we need to do is to tell Israel what to do. The only thing we should be doing is supporting them and eliminating Hamas. It is not that Israel needs America. America needs Israel. They are the tip of the spear when it comes to this Islamic terrorism, and we need to make sure that we have their backs in that process.
Guys, you got me up to 218 subscribers so far. Hit that subscribe for me. Hit the thumbs up. I would love to get to 318 by the end of the month. Let's go.
But let's keep in mind, these people that are wanting to come here, they want to come for a better life too. They have kids too. They have a heart too. So we don't need to be disrespectful. We don't need to talk about them as criminals. They're not. They're families that want a better life, and they're desperate to get here.
So people that break our laws and sneak across the southern border, we should be nice to them? We should not treat them as criminals?
What was the cause of the United States Civil War?
Well, don't come with an easy question or anything. I mean, I think the cause of the Civil War was basically how government was going to run, the freedoms and what people could and couldn't do.
Of course, the first thing I should have said was slavery. I completely agree with that. When you grow up in the South, slavery is a given. Like when you think of the Civil War, you know it was about slavery. That's not, that's never been in question. And, you look at the fact, I'm a Southern governor who actually asked and got the Confederate flag to come down in front of the State House. So slavery, if you grow up in South Carolina, you know that that's a huge part of history, but you take it for the lesson that it is, which is, yes, that's a stain on our history.
Good morning, everyone. As I told you yesterday, I'm ready to say something about the presidential race. I've had a long relationship with Donald Trump, and there's a lot to like there. I'm also a big fan of a lot of the fiscal conservatism of Ron DeSantis. I think Vivek Ramaswamy's been an important voice. Also have listened to and met with the independent Bobby Kennedy. I'm not yet ready to make a decision, but I am ready to make a decision on someone who I cannot support. So I'm announcing this morning that I'm Never Nikki. And if you go to nevernikki.net, you can let her know that you're not a supporter either. I don't think any informed or knowledgeable libertarian or conservative should support Nikki Haley. I've seen her attitude towards our interventions overseas. I've seen her involvement in the military-industrial complex, $8 million being paid to become part of the team. But I've also seen her indicate that she thinks you should be registered to use the internet, that people posting ideas anonymously. I think she fails to understand that our republic was founded upon people like Ben Franklin, Sam Adams, Madison, John Jay, and others who posted routinely. For fear of the government, they posted routinely anonymously. And I think her failure to really understand that, or to think that you should register through the government somehow for the internet, is something that should disqualify her in the minds of all libertarian-leaning conservatives. So I'm announcing today I'm Never Nikki. You can go to nevernikki.net and sign up and show her that you're Never Nikki also. Thanks.
Shout out to Rand Paul.
Seemingly confirming what was apparently an open secret in South Carolina, New reporting from the Daily Mail alleges former governor and current GOP hopeful Nikki Haley had affairs with her communications consultant and a married lobbyist prior to becoming the Palmetto State's chief executive. Two eyewitnesses, Will Folks and Larry Merchant, signed affidavits in 2010 alleging they had a sexual relationship with Haley before she went on to become governor. Haley has previously denied the affairs, though GOP insiders in South Carolina allege the affairs were, quote, brazen and widely known. So, Jessica, this, as mentioned in the opener, were considered open secrets in South Carolina that Nikki Haley had been philandering around the state with members of her party before becoming governor. And I've even heard allegations that it continued while she was governor. Now, her husband is in the military and is deployed on occasion, which would give her opportunity. Of course, legally, you have to be careful about what you say. She has denied the affairs, but this Daily Mail report apparently has access to these 2010 sworn affidavits that were previously not available to the public. And in addition, they talked to people from South Carolina who claimed that this was basically done quite brazenly. This is a quote from the Daily Mail article. Multiple GOP insiders told DailyMail.com that they were intimately aware of Haley's infidelity as a South Carolina lawmaker, including tales of steamy liaisons in the back of her Cadillac SUV, canoodling in her lover's laps at bars, and nights spent together in a Columbia, South Carolina duplex. The 2010 affidavits, including the one from Folks, say that he engaged in an inappropriate physical relationship that included numerous instances of inappropriate sexual conduct, says he first kissed Haley in a car in early 2007, and that they had regular trysts in her apartment in downtown Columbia. And the allegations go on, but this is also not the first time that we have heard about allegations that she has been unfaithful to her husband.
Nikki Haley is a straight up freak. Now, these are allegations that come from way back in 2010 before she became governor. And as the lady was reporting from the Hill, that this affair could have even been ongoing during her time in the governor's mansion. And I'm not condoning infidelity. I don't believe in it. I think infidelity is wrong. I think cheating on your spouse is wrong. But if you're going to cheat, at least go get a hotel room. They said that there was a steamy sexual encounter in the back of Nikki's Cadillac SUV. So she getting her back blown out in the back of a Cadillac Escalade. And I read the report from the Daily Mail, and the Daily Mail said that it was in the parking lot of a local South Carolina restaurant in Columbia. So you're in Columbia, South Carolina, in a restaurant parking lot. You couldn't wait. You couldn't even get a hotel, Nikki Haley. You was that horny. Now, if you go back 2010, that's 14 years ago. Nikki's in her early 40s. I'm sorry, she's in her early 50s. So now that would have made her in her 30s back then. Her mid to late 30s. And the sad thing is, her husband is oftentimes deployed overseas. And I think back then he was in Afghanistan because, of course, the Afghan war, it lasted up until a couple of years ago, as we all know, over 20 years. So your husband is literally overseas putting his life on the line, and you're swerving around the city with other men. And I believe that these allegations are true because they signed sworn affidavits. And if you make accusations or say something about a public figure that's not true, you can be sued for defamation of character. And Nikki Haley never sued these people. All she did was deny. So I just find this to be very disturbing. Of course, she did serve as governor up until she was tapped to serve in the Trump administration back in 2016. But as you saw through all those clips in the video, never Nikki. She's not. I don't even know why she's still in the race, but Nikki Haley is an opportunist. She's a neocon. She's a globalist. She's a sellout. She's a bidder for the corporate elite and the military-industrial complex. That's why she's so heavily invested in us protecting Israel. Which even if we got to go to war, she's going to be for it. But I just wanted to make this video to give people a little bit more insight on who Nikki Haley really is. She's not America first. She wants open borders. She wants to take away anonymity for social media users. She's authoritarian, and she likes to have sexual intercourse in the back of her Cadillac Escalade while she's married in a parking lot of a restaurant. That should tell you everything you need to know about Nimarata, aka Nikki Haley. Y'all like the video? Share, subscribe. Peace.